Together we have a chance. I want a chance, Annie. That's all I want. I love you. I want time for you.
I don't care about you.
He's so nasty, treating her rough.
Yeah, knocking her around and always talking so tough.
You need blood and he's got more than enough.
I need blood and he's got more than enough.
You need blood and he's got more than enough.
Actually, I'm rather surprised I don't look familiar to you, Turner. Obviously, you don't watch the better TV channels.
Ah, but you do. I'm Rex Reed.
And I'm Bill Harris, and you are at the movies.
Audrey, you're the most wonderful person that ever lived. We're gonna get that little house, and everything will be okay somehow. You'll see. Suddenly Seymour is standing beside you. Yes, you can.
Excuse me, pardon me, beg your pardon. If you two kids would just stop singing for a moment, I've got something I want to discuss with you. Now, which one of you is Seymour Crowhorn?
It was Kermit the Frog of Muppet fame who taught us that it's not easy being green. Now a new musical comedy spotlights a creature who introduces himself as a, quote, mean green mother from outer space. And he's not kidding. The film is Little Shop of Horrors. A cult classic since filmmaker Roger Corman made it way back in 1960. He shot it on zero budget in an unbelievable 2 days and a night. Now Rick Moranis stars as Seymour, a nice little nerd with a green thumb, who's all thumbs at his job in Mushnick's flower shop on Skid Row. Ellen Greene co-stars as his co-worker Audrey, the lovely blonde vision of his dreams. He doesn't mind that she's a ditz, but he is troubled by Steve Martin, who has a small but pivotal part as Audrey's bullying biker of a boyfriend, a sadomasochistic psycho who found a career that pays him to inflict pain.
When I was younger, just a bad little kid, my mama noticed funny things I did, like shooting puppies with a BB gun. I'd poison guppies when I was done. I'd find a pussycat bashing its head. That's when my mama said,
What did she say?
she said, my boy, I think someday you'll find a way to make your actual tendencies pay. You'll be a dentist. You have a talent for causing things. Come be a dentist. People will pay you to be inhumane.
Magically, Seymour's life and fortunes change when he finds a strange, fast-growing plant with strange habits, dietary and otherwise.
You ought to see the way he treats her, Tooey. She deserves a prince, not a sadistic creep like him. The man's a total disgrace to the dental profession. I don't know what's going on sometimes. Seems like the whole world's going crazy. At least we got each other, right? I'm gonna turn in, Tooey. I'll see you in the morning. Oh, boy, here we go again. Come on, I haven't got much left. Just give me a few days to heal, okay? Then we'll start again on the left hand and...
Me.
I beg your pardon?
Feed me.
Tooey, you talk. You open your trap. You sing and you sing.
Feed me, Crowhorn. Feed me now.
With Levi Stubbs of the legendary Four Tops as the voice of the plant, Seymour learns that his love for the appetizing Audrey may be helped by another's hunger.
If you want a rationale, it isn't very hard to see. No, no, no. Stop and think it over, pal. The guy sure looks like plant food to me. The guy sure looks like plant food to me. The guy sure looks like plant food to me.
he's so nasty, treating her rough.
Yeah, knocking her around and always talking so tough.
You need blood and he's got more than enough.
I need blood and he's got more than enough.
You need blood and he's got more than enough.
So go.
And get him he does, in a bizarre and sometimes dark musical comedy. Director Frank Oz of Muppet fame had fun with this one, sticking tongue-in-cheek even as they stick a few victims into the plant and stick a few guest stars in. Cameos by John Candy, Bill Murray, Jim Belushi, and Christopher Guest show it was an A event for the in crowd. Moranis and Green are an unlikely but likable team as the hesitant lovers, and a few of the songs are winners. So's a sensational singing trio of black Bowery bimbos who improbably and occasionally pop up. It's an odd movie, though, but somehow never fully satisfying. The spirit is there, but the fun just doesn't communicate, and at times it is just too dark. Many will complain they've tampered with an almost classic. Others, like me, will just complain.
And me. I love the off-Broadway show. I thought it was cute, and it was sparkling, but that sparkle's gone in this picture. I don't know what happened. What do you think happened? I mean, the lyrics seem juvenile. It's all that. It's a movie that's meant to be watched while chewing bubble gum, I
But
think.
it seems almost evil at times. It seems unpleasant. The dismembering scenes. There's some real racial overtones in the rubbery lips of that plant talking, feed me. It's uncomfortable at times.
Well, have you ever seen those cartoons where they always have a crow that sounds like a Step-and-Fetch-It character? That's what the plant sounds like, and when it tries to take over the world and eats everybody alive, it just gets nasty and mean-spirited. I wanted to like it more than I did. Next, Richard Gere as a tough Chicago cop in hot pursuit of the man who brutally killed his partner.
Let him live. I'll come with you like before.
Richard Gere and Kim Basinger have got to be two of the new Hollywood's unluckiest people. For all of his claims to being a contemporary John Garfield, he absent-mindedly boogies through every movie like he's afraid somebody is about to steal his motorcycle, and for an alleged sex symbol, she suffers more abuse on the screen than Rodney Dangerfield. In 9.5 weeks, she got smeared with frozen strawberries and tortured black and blue. In Fool for Love, she crawled around in the desert and ate dirt. Well, with a string of flops behind them, they've now teamed up in a lurid, violent thriller called No Mercy. Sorry, it's not the picture that's going to change their luck. He's Eddie, a tough, foul-mouthed Chicago cop whose partner is brutally murdered by thugs from New Orleans, and she's Michelle, a beautiful Cajun girl with a blue parrot tattooed on her right shoulder. Find the tattoo, and you find the killer. That's the plot. Okay, the trail leads from the Chicago stockyards to the alligator-infested bayous of Louisiana. Eddie finds Michelle in a waterfront dive in this scene. It's in Algiers across the river, and he drags her out in front of a gang of hostile freaks from Central Casting.
Gillette. Eddie Gillette.
What?
Eddie Gillette. Say it.
Eddie Gillette.
Does anything else come out of your mouth? Sheer history?
You shoot, they'll kill you.
Can't give a about dying.
Handcuffed together, the tough cop and the tough suspect crash into the Mississippi River, dodging bullets and logic.
Michelle, where are you? Gillette? Sure, I know your name. I'll make you a deal, Eddie Gillette. Let Michelle go. If you make me come after you, you die, for sure, like an animal.
No Mercy builds to a bloody and rather silly climax, displaying more arty camera angles than good sense. Written by the same Jim Karabatsos, who scripted Clint Eastwood's Heartbreak Ridge, it even contains the same filthy dialogue. Honestly, some of the lines in this movie are identical, only this time they're spoken by cops instead of boot camp Marines. This is obviously a writer with a one-track mind. The film is sleazy, repellent, and dumb, but so what? That describes a lot of today's movies. What's worse is it's totally ludicrous. Richard Gere, as a cop, is so tough he makes Dirty Harry and James Bond look like Boy Scouts. Kim Basinger, poor thing, is either soaking wet or covered with mud, and her wardrobe looks like it cost $4.99 at Kmart. Oh, well, the title says it all. No mercy, and that's exactly what you get. You can't say they didn't warn you.
I know. But on the other hand, I think it's sensational. I thought it was great fun. I thought it was great fun, good action, edge of the seat, good characters. You put the brain in neutral, you sit back, and they just keep going. I don't know the attraction of Gere, but he makes women go dreamy. I know Kim Basinger, I think, is sensational also.
In 1986, Cajun girls do not look like Kim Basinger. They are not sold into white slavery by their mothers. There is no such place depicted in this film as Algiers, across the river from New Orleans, which is really a nice little suburb.
It's a movie. It's supposed to be make-believe.
It is total make-believe, but it is not meant to be make-believe, I don't think, when they're really that tough on the screen. We have to tell them that Algiers in the movie is really the Year of the Dragon set, which is North Carolina.
I like knowing that one, but there are two different opinions. Next up, Jane Fonda. She's a down-and-out actress who wakes up with a stranger who has a knife through his heart. Once upon a time, Jane Fonda was quite some actress. In fact, they were grooming her to replace Vera Miles. But then things went wrong. You see, the lady drinks a lot. Jane stars as fast-fading alcoholic actress Alex Sternbergen in the new romantic mystery thriller The Morning After. But all of a sudden, alcohol isn't her only big problem. There's a man she wakes up beside after a forgotten night. She wakes up slowly and painfully, but talk about a disappointing bed partner. He never does wake up. He's been murdered, and that starts the mystery, as she starts to piece the evening together, trading revelations with her platonic husband and confidant, Raul Julia.
I talked to a client of mine. A woman could offer you the first reasonable gig you've had in years. I tell her how talented and beautiful, etc., etc. She goes all the way to Martinos to find you. She calls me later to tell me that she did like your style, or whatever's left of it. And you know what you do?
Why don't I remember any of this?
You're kidding me. You know what you did? You called her a...
Why would I say that?
Because she is one. Would you have to say it?
Listen, Jackie, I just woke up with a dead guy.
You got more serious problems than lousy lovers, believe me.
No. I mean dead, Jackie. This man is cold.
You're kidding me.
No, she's not. Romance enters the picture very slowly in the person of co-star Jeff Bridges, an ex-cop who gets involved in the man's death and the lady's life.
Okay, I got stabbed by a little hooker, 14 years of age. Anyway, she must have cut some nerves up here. I can't draw my weapon right anymore. Feels awkward.
Maybe you just got tired of being a cop.
Oh, you kidding? That was the best job I ever had.
Oh, hassling bunks and hookers, speed traps.
No, she's good. But I always have trouble forgetting she's Jane Fonda. She looks terrific, but that's now expected. In fact, it's become a sideline industry for the lady. Jeff Bridges is the distastefully bigoted detective who sorts through all the red herrings to help trap the guilty eventually. The guilty that you and I spotted even before we opened our box of Junior Mints in the theater. There is one major surprise, though, that had me jump out of my seat. But on the whole, it's pretty tame and traditional. At one point, Fonda describes a cheap wine as a trifle fruity and lacking depth. And I'll have to say the same thing about the film.
I like this one. I thought it was implausible, of course, but never boring for a single minute. Sidney Lumet is such a fine director that he really made his first picture in Hollywood, The Morning After, and gave it more of a look than any movie about Hollywood in the last decade. He shows it as the sleazy place it is. He shows the salons, the beauty salons, the warehouse district. He shows a side of Hollywood.
The sleazy part it is.
Oh, I think Hollywood is one of the sleaziest places in America, but it's very rarely shown to be. He shows a part of it that we never see. And Jane Fonda is so brilliant in this film. This is really great. This is fine acting. Unfortunately, in the clips we had, we only saw her in that blonde wig. But when she looks like herself at the end and you see how she's going to change her life, she tells you more with her face than most actresses would with a whole 400-page script. I thought she was just superb in the film.
I think the town's pretty nice myself. Next,
because you have to live there.
Next, Rex has an exclusive at the movies interview with the lady herself, the star of The Morning After, Jane Fonda.
Channel 11's Super Entertainment continues following the...
Actress. Good.
Jane, you've never
Rex.
been an alcoholic, and you've never been in B-movies. So the character you play in The Morning After is obviously one of the ones that you couldn't dredge up things from your own past to play. So did you use your actor studio training, or was this instinct that got you?
I just sort of plunged into a world of somebody who was out of control. It was fun to prepare for it. I did the usual things. I went to a lot of AA meetings. Really came to admire that program. A lot of respect for that. I went to Al-Anon meetings. I talked to sober alcoholics and drunks and went to bars and I drank a lot and but I think the thing that helped me the most, the author, James Hicks, of the original script, who created the characters, who himself is a sober alcoholic, and he told me that he had, as a younger man, been so moved by Gail Russell and Frances Farmer, these young, beautiful, talented actresses who'd arrived in Hollywood and kind of fell by the wayside as, as alcoholics. Gail Russell died alone in an apartment in Montana Avenue, surrounded by vodka bottles. And I went and I saw all of her films. And I saw all of Frances Farmer's films, and I reread her autobiography. And when I first approached the character, I thought, well, she's a former B-movie actress, probably not very good. And then I saw these two women, and boy, they were good. They were beautiful, and they were talented, and they were vulnerable. And the disease got them, and it totally changed my feeling about this character. I mean, she was good. When I say that I was good, it was true.
I feel, as a critic and as an observer of a lot of films that you probably don't even have to suffer through, that women over 40 are really in trouble. I mean, there aren't many scripts for women over 40. There aren't many movies for audiences over 40. And how do you manage to continue to do quality work?
Thank you.
The roles aren't falling out of the sky, obviously, for women like you.
No, it's true. I think the writers tend to gear everything to a younger age group. But I'm less vulnerable to that because I'm also a producer, and for the last 15 years, with a few exceptions, all the movies are movies that I've been developing myself with a partner, including this one.
Is that what a woman has to do now? Make her own projects and follow through on them? Goldie Hawn is doing that. I think Sally Field
Barbara Streisand.
Doing that. Is that what all of you gals are going to have to do now to keep us satisfied? I mean, we want movies from you, and we don't want you to go away.
Yeah.
I just can't see any more movies about pimple-faced teenagers trying to get laid. I want to see movies about
older women trying to get laid.
Well, real people. Some kind of real people on the screen, which is what you play.
I think that we do have to take charge of our own careers. There's no question that if I didn't create my own roles, I wouldn't be working as much as I'd like to. And when I started out at 21 years old, nobody told me, hey, eventually you're not only going to have to be an actress, but you're also going to have to be a producer and learn how to develop scripts. I'm not sure I would have had the guts to get into it if I'd known that. But I've been real lucky, and I've worked with really good partners, and I am determined to make it through this sort of wasteland period. Because, if you think about it, things can be pretty great up to, like, the middle of middle age, and then they get great again when you're really old and you play kind of
and then you can
juicy character roles. But it's that middle period that gets kind of thin, and I want to try to traverse that period with a certain degree of dignity and some really juicy roles, including roles that show that you can be a sensual, complex, and fully developed creature in your late 40s and 50s.
I think she's wearing her dignity and her middle years very well.
Boy, am I a fan. And
what a talented girl
and woman she is.
And open and so honest, too. You know, so many people know her as the aerobics queen now that they're going to be very offended to see her smoking and drinking, and she doesn't smoke or drink. She said she smoked lettuce cigarettes in the film. She said, if I just played all these nice housewives for the rest of my life, I'd fall asleep at the wheel.
Oh, bet you didn't tell her she lives in that sleazy Hollywood. Now let's recap the movies we reviewed on this program. The musical comedy Little Shop of Horrors, starring Rick Moranis and Ellen Greene and Steve Martin, was fun, but ended on too dark a note. 2 stars from me and 2 stars from Rex. The thriller No Mercy was thrilling for me. I thought the action was exciting and the stars top-notch. 3 stars. Rex says the movie was incoherent for him. He gives it 2 stars. And the romantic mystery whodunit The Morning After, disappointed whodunit right in the beginning. 2.5 stars here. Rex said it held his interest. He gave it a big 3 stars.
That's all there is this week. Next week, we'll review Eddie Murphy's new offering, The Golden Child, and Matt Dillon and Oprah Winfrey are just 2 of the people in Native Son. That's next week. And until then, I'm Rex Reed.
And I'm Bill Harris. And holiday cards are over by now, but here's one final one from all of us to all of you. Courtesy of MGM-UA, we'll let the great Judy Garland spread a cheer with a wish for all of you from Meet Me in St. Louis. And Merry Christmas, everybody.
Happy holidays.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas. Let your heart